My name is Bradley Orr. I'm with Stratos. We're in Colorado. We are a pharmaceutical-grade manufacturer of pharmaceutical-grade tablet manufacturer. It's a hard-pressed tablet like a Tylenol. You swallow it whole. I've been with the firm for about 2.5 years, a little over 2 years. The founding partner has much pharmaceutical experience, as does a lot of our team. We have over 80 years of combined experience. Brought that drug formulation technology to cannabis to improve the consistency and the quality of the edibles that are on the market. I was fortunate enough to join. I have an investment management background, and the opportunity just presented itself. It was very attractive because of the advantage that our technology and our process brings to the edible space. I have, as do my partners, have personal experience that brings a passion that helps our very medically focused company, although we're heavy into recreational as well. That helps us kind of bring passion to help the patients and bring quality products to the market. And you know, it made for a no-brainer decision to join the company, and it's been a heck of a ride.
Hi, I'm Michael from Evokes Laboratories, and I think that when we think about processing and we think about product and we think about patients and consumers, it all starts with the plant, and it all has to be managed in such a way as to be able to present a clear value and safety proposition for consumers, not just the current consumers, certainly not just the current consumers, primarily the consumers that are going to be entering the market, and understanding and getting to understand how these products are created, what are the ways they're created, and how can you tell the good ones apart from the ones that might not be as good. And as a business, for any of us, managing the vertical integration of your supply chain is really valuable because A, you have quality control capabilities, which are essential in the coming market, but B, if you set it up correctly, then you're not only going to be able to supply yourself with the product that you need, but you can work with other brands and producers and supply product for a broader swath of the industry as well to be able to kind of help support the growth of that. And I think that that's one of the really exciting things about the way things are heading regulatorily, say in California, for example, where we are, because when you set up a licensed extraction facility in your area, that's going to be a licensed extraction facility where you will be able to create product that you can then bring in your own brands, you can bring in other brands, you can utilize that pipeline to keep costs down and build as much value as possible with the opportunities that your entity has. So, we, as a company that primarily uses cannabis oil and started off sourcing from, various Northern California cultivators, and working with different extractors who were set up in different ways, our goal has always been, to get into that compliant, regulated facility that we're working to set up and, be able to provide cost savings and value for us and for our investors and for future potential partners. Does anyone have any questions? Right on. Well, I mean, this is about, it's kind of about in processing and manufacturing. This.
I have a question.
Sure.
Obviously, it's the compliance situation you're in, the extraction, the process itself, and then the marketing. I mean, what percentage of the emphasis is on the actual extraction technology portion, and how much effort is required to stay relevant in the? Because I know you guys are doing a lot of different flavored stuff. You guys are on the edge in terms of extracting stuff. How much does the extraction technology play?
Well, I mean, the extraction processes that have to be developed for each product, I think, wind up being very unique. Like there are you know, we, for example, when even if we're sourcing other oil or if we're extracting it ourselves, you know, we go through additional post-processing to remove lipids and plant matter from the material so that it's much easier to go through the vaporizing mechanism. You know, people who are creating edibles don't necessarily need to take that extra step, which creates different price points for them. And, you know, that the way that you treat the product and figuring out what the I guess the minimum viable product required for any given market offering, you know, that idea is going to be a combination of what do you have access to, what does your team have the ability to create themselves, and then what can you set up into the future to be able to, you know, research and develop better methods for that. And, you know, that it depends on what your focus is as a business, because you can easily be a brand you know, and not be a product manufacturer. But you can find product manufacturers that have various levels of product output, and it, you know, and what your end goal is, and how you want to be able to speak about it to your consumers. All of that's going to be tied up in how you set up that processing and what the end results are.
So in that, I'm hearing that you think it'll probably become more specialized, and as a branded national presence, you may be more likely to buy oils from somebody who has an entity that specializes in producing oils for you.
Yeah, I mean, as an entity, we personally, like, don't need to be everything. Like, we are trying to combine great ideas and great technologies. I mean, our approach specifically, we combine aromatherapy with cannabis. So we're taking things that already exist in nature and combining them with cannabis to create something that's more valuable. So we take that same approach in our business strategic partnerships, with either trying to set up our own extraction or working with our partners who are absolutely setting up extraction and figuring out the right model for that. You know, I think as we move forward, we're going to see, you know, certain people are going to get licenses, like, and certain people aren't. And then the people who do have the ability to provide support to a larger group of the industry if that's the route they want to take. And the more support they provide, the more robust I think our industry can become.
Yeah, I tend to agree with a lot of Michael's points. For us, we have developed what we have in Colorado as what I call the hub in our hub and spoke plan. We want to make sure we understand all aspects of our business, from the grow all the way through the driver delivering our product to the dispensaries who's a Stratos employee. We are completely vertically integrated in Colorado. We have extracted all of our oil for all of our products since day one. But to Michael's point, I'm not sure that that's necessary. We do have an in-house lab. We test each of our products either 3 or 4 times throughout the process, so we do know what the inputs into our products are, and we know those inputs very well. But that can be determined with somebody else's oil as well. We do have some strain specificity for each of our products, and as we move forward, I mean, this is the challenge. So we want to understand and have understood exactly what we have in Colorado, and we want to know it from beginning to end. As we go into new markets, lifting out what we have in Colorado and placing it, because we can't go across the state lines, into new markets, we start to think about, okay, can we eliminate extraction and maybe find a partner who has their own extraction for many purposes, and maybe gain some efficiencies there, in the same way that we would you know, lever their existing sales and distribution network. So to your question, is extraction critical? Absolutely critical that we control it. Is it super critical? Is it super critical? We have a super critical CO2 extractor. Yes and no. For us, it doesn't have to be. It's been a great benefit that we've been able to figure it out on our own. But I think as the market continues to rationalize, we'll probably have more extractors. That's all they do. They have a bigger percentage of the edible companies. A greater percentage of the edible companies will use contract extractors to maybe make their operation more efficient and and see it develop that way.
Okay, I've got a question for you. What kind of cost of goods as a percentage do you feel to be successful in processing and manufacturing? So what are you looking to keep your cost of goods down to as a percentage of your sales?
So the beauty of having a pharmaceutical-like product is that we have and will have even more so pharmaceutical-like margins, which tend to be very, very high. So I don't know where the traditional edibles companies are, but I would imagine they're below where our margins tend to be. I think, with a manufacturing business, anything above 50% as a gross margin is going to be a good place to be. That's going to be a healthy margin.
So for our company, which utilizes a hardware device as part of our delivery mechanism, we are automatically going to have reduced opportunity for margin in our space. But the good news about what we're talking about here with processing and manufacturing, like as an example, we never necessarily intended to get a specific extraction license. We worked with our partners here, and our plan has been and continues to be, as we go into other states, we have quality benchmarks for our THC feedstock that needs to be at a certain percentage with the lipids removed, no pesticides, et cetera. And so we can source that easily from any capable extractor in any area in the country that has their license. But when we start to see in the state of California, for us where our base of operations is, it's much easier for us to increase our margins by having direct involvement with an extraction facility, and one that can not only create product that we're going to use, but product that we can then also provide to other product manufacturers as well. So I definitely agree with the 50% as being the standard goal. But I also think it's important when you're launching to think about, the transition that you will make from starting off at a certain price point that's based on lower volumes, that then as you grow and your volumes increase, then your costs decrease. And if you can figure out, both from, say, your oil supplier or your hardware manufacturer or any of the components that go into your companies, how that ramps up, so like you're able to show the trajectory of when we're moving this many units, we're actually seeing a net savings of this much per product. I think that shows good forethought and understanding that setting up a business is a long-term strategy, and thinking about it in the big picture as much as you can to keep all of those things in mind.
One other point on the other side of that, certainly gaining the leverage from scaling the operation is tremendous. If you can have great margins ahead of that, you've got an incremental margins on incremental sales will be quite valuable. The other side of that for us, and I don't know the pricing environment in California, but we have seen a fair amount of pricing pressure already. The dispensary groups are consolidating. They're pushing the smaller players out. That rationalization has been taking place for a while, and central to that is that they think their buying power is substantially greater as that happens, and it is. And it has been difficult to push back on that pricing pressure, but that is one thing to be aware of, that is 100% margin that will be very, very impactful to your business as you see pricing pressure. I'm not sure how long we can hold off, but it's pretty aggressive.